Greetings, listeners. It's Thursday the 22nd. We've got a nice little 4-game slate for you last night. I'm excited about the games. Got a few takeaways from last night. Actually, one takeaway, and that takeaway is that John Wall is not clutch. John Wall is not clutch at all. He airballed 2 shots with seconds remaining in the game and overtime. Every time he just... Paul Pierce is clutch. That's the other takeaway. Paul Pierce is about as clutch as you can get. He is got the clutch bone. Paul Pierce continued. That's why they brought him there. He was yelling that after he made his shots. He was screaming. This is why they brought me here. And that's exactly why they did bring you there, Paul Pierce. Good job. Way to hit those shots. He was he didn't make one shot in the game, and then it was there was like a minute left when they were down by 1, and he just stepped up, missed every shot before that, and just cashed it. And then he did it again. So Paul Pierce, if the game's on the line, and Paul Pierce is on the team that has the opportunity to shoot an important shot, you should guard Paul Pierce before you guard John Wall. Don't let John Wall drive to the rack. That's just ridiculous. But make John Wall shoot a jumper. Don't let Paul Pierce shoot a jumper. And yeah, that's about it. That was a great game. I had fun watching that game. Kevin Durant with a little buzzer beater. Russell Westbrook with a little buzzer beater. It was good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's jump right into the action. We've got San Antonio Spurs at the Chicago Bulls. Spurs, I believe, are a 2-point favorite, and the over/under is 200. So there's some points to go around here. Let's start with the San Antonio Spurs. Stop playing Patty Mills. I played Patty Mills. You might have played Patty Mills. Patty Mills is a great player. He's a spark plug. He's an awesome fantasy points per minute type of player. That being said, he only played 15 minutes in his last game. I think that it was nice when he sort of came back. He got back into the lineup. Pop gave him some run. He had a couple amazing performances in short minutes, but Patty Mills, just not worth the risk. There's plenty of, especially in a night like tonight, there's plenty of other options out there. All right, so let's start with the Spurs. So we've got Kawhi Leonard, the small forward. He is in my utility slot tonight because Gordon Hayward is my other small forward, believe it or not. It's a scary night, I know. But so Kawhi Leonard, 17 and 15 versus Denver. 15 rebounds. He's a small forward. The small forward position is not necessarily designed to corral that number of rebounds, but Kawhi Leonard is not a typical small forward. Tim Duncan. Stay away from Tim Duncan tonight. Tim Duncan, 6 rebounds last game, 5 rebounds the game before that. Both games with Kawhi getting more rebounds than Tim Duncan did, that's for sure. It's just Tim Duncan, he'll drop in price. But just right now, let him drop. Kawhi Leonard's back. There's just less rebounds to go around. So Tim Duncan, it's going to be hard for him with that freaking monster flying around the entire court. It's going to be hard for Tim Duncan to get as many rebounds as he once did. And that Tim Duncan doesn't care about those rebounds. He wants to, obviously, he likes to see his name at the all-time list for rebounds, but, the guy's 40 years old. If you've got a guy like Kawhi Leonard who can take 3 steps and cover the entire length of the court, let him, and with those freaking hands, let him get those rebounds. So for the point guard on the Spurs tonight, my point guard is Tony Parker, believe it or not, and it's sketchy. I know it's sketchy. I know it's very, very sketchy, but I've got a feeling. And sorry, I'm probably wrong, but given the Spurs standings in the Western Conference, and just given how just incredibly difficult that conference is in general, night in and night out, I think it's time, and I think it's time Pop maybe sat Tony Parker down, and I think he might have said to him, "Look, dude, we gotta make some moves here. We gotta start doing something. Your days of playing 19 minutes and getting 6 points and 1 assist and just doing nothing is there. You hope you had a nice break because you better make some moves or else you're not going to make the playoffs. But the Spurs are going to make the playoffs. They're going to make some moves, and that's why I think that the Spurs are going to win this game by more than 2 points. I think that now is their time. Here's when they're going to start making their move. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant are both back. They're both healthy. The Thunder is going to start winning some games. The thing, it's going to get interesting in the Western Conference. Phoenix is seemingly playing well. They just trashed Portland last. Obviously, no Marcus Aldridge, but they still trashed Portland. Um, so yeah, I think that I just have a feeling that it might be time for Tony Parker to start trying. And if Tony Parker, at 5,800, if anytime you can get a basketball god who's going to try at 5,800, I like that. I like his value tonight. Tony Parker, if you follow basketball at all, you know that he is a god. He is a basketball god, and his low numbers are just due to just he doesn't care, and that's cool because he's amazing. He doesn't have to care. He cares when it matters, and he's really good when it matters. He's always really, really good when it matters. And that's the mark of a special player. And Tony Parker is a special player. So Tony Parker is my point guard tonight. It's a little scary. I know. If you want to play Brandon Knight play just a solid guy who's guaranteed 40 minutes, go for it. But I'm rolling the dice on Tony Parker tonight. I think it's time. It's time for the Spurs to step it up. So let's move over to the other side of the ball. Joakim Noah has been downgraded to doubtful for tonight, so everyone plug in Taj Gibson as your power forward for 6,100. I think that's a solid play. I don't see how you could argue against playing him in a starting slot for 6,100. Pau Gasol's probably going to have a good game. Pau Gasol, Tim Duncan on the defensive end has not been very good. And how do you expect him to be good? He's 40 years old. The guy can't give max effort every night and live to tell the tale. He's got to take a bunch of plays off. And that's what he does. He's still amazing, but Pau Gasol playing so well right now, I think that Pau Gasol's in for a good game. That being said, he is a little too expensive for my taste. Pau Gasol is 9,300. And with the matchups tonight, I just think there's a lot better value than Pau Gasol at 93. He's one of the most expensive. I think he's behind Blake Griffin and maybe Damian Lillard is like the most expensive players tonight. He's behind, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, Damian Lillard. I just think there's other value to be had. You don't need to play Pau Gasol, but if you want, he'll probably have a good game. If you slot him in there, if you throw in maybe a Darrell Wright for 3K, and you have room, you have spending money. You're gonna have spending money tonight. There's a ton of value on this little 4-game slate. Believe it or not, I think we're gonna see some high scores. So yeah, Jimmy Butler's solid play. He's always a solid play. He's pretty matchup proof. What I do worry about that situation is that Jimmy Butler is in Pau Gasol right now. Jimmy Butler's Chicago's best player. Jimmy Butler has been a superstar, an absolute in every sense of the word. He has been a freaking superstar this year. But I worry that if Jimmy Butler is hurting the San Antonio Spurs, I worry that he's going to draw Kawhi Leonard. And anytime you think a player has a chance of being defended by Kawhi Leonard, you need to go in a different direction. Kawhi Leonard is the absolute most horrifying defensive player in the NBA. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about Kawhi Leonard for a while. I apologize, but the guy, he's just incredible. So I was watching the Portland versus San Antonio game a few nights ago, and LaMarcus Aldridge did a little pick and pop. Damian Lillard, he was in the corner for about a 18 foot jumper, wide open. Kawhi Leonard was 6 or 7 feet away. So LaMarcus caught the ball, brought it down a little bit, went up to do his shot in rhythm. He was going to cash it. LaMarcus Aldridge is when he's wide open from 17, 18 feet, he's going to make that 85, 90% of the time. When he's wide open, no hesitation. That ball's going to go in. And Kawhi Leonard just took one giant leap for mankind over to over to LaMarcus Aldridge, and LaMarcus Aldridge just went up. He was about to leave his feet. He goes, no, 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 no. Whoa, where did you come from, Kawhi Leonard? Get away from me! And he passed the ball away. Just by lunging towards him, Kawhi Leonard made LaMarcus Aldridge, who shoots 26 times a game, pass up his best shot because Kawhi Leonard was in the vicinity. That sort of effect that one player can have on a basket. Kawhi Leonard's 6'6". LaMarcus Aldridge is 6'11". LaMarcus Aldridge didn't shoot it because Kawhi Leonard was around him. Like, think about that. He has 6 inches on the guy, and he didn't shoot it. That's just, when a guy starts doing things like that, he sort of transcends what. Transcend is a stupid. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Transcend is a stupid word. Kawhi Leonard is really incredible at defense, and if he's going to make LaMarcus Aldridge think about shooting a wide open jumper, then my God, I do not want to play anyone who has any sort of chance or even might be defended by Kawhi Leonard on a play, because that will probably result in a turnover, honestly. The guy, you just can't fathom, like, his impact on both ends of the floor, especially the defensive end. His hands are. There's Google images of his hands all over the place. You gotta, if you have never seen Kawhi Leonard's hand, you gotta look it up. It's absolutely horrifying how big his hands are. His hands are the size of, like, they're bigger than a frying pan. I can't even call them frying pan. They're bigger than that. And he's 6'7". He's an unbelievable athlete. What is it? Wonder what his wingspan is. I mean, he's got massive hands, so his wingspan's gonna be big for sure. Let me look up Kawhi Leonard wingspan. Oh, okay. Kawhi Leonard is listed on the little draft combine little blurb they have here. Kawhi Leonard, 6'6" and change with socks on, so with basketball shoes on, we'll give him 6'7", 6'8". Wingspan, 7 feet 3 inches. Think about that for a second. If someone is 6'6", 6'7", guarding you, but his wingspan is longer than Kevin Garnett's, you can't do anything. Someone as fast as Kawhi Leonard with a 7'3" wingspan, there's on the offensive end, if he's guarding you, you just can't do anything. There's ways around him. Like, if he's guarding you, just run around. Like, get if Kawhi Leonard's guarding you, you need to run, get as far away from the ball as you possibly can, and then just make quick moves. Just run. If you get the ball, just quick pass. Pass to someone else. Because I guarantee you, whoever it is, I don't care what your name is, you could be Kevin Durant. If Kawhi Leonard's guarding you, someone else probably has a better chance to score. Is there anything else I can go on and on about that guy? That's it for today. I'll give you some more Kawhi Leonard love later. But just think about that. Think about a guy who's 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan. I mean, no wonder his hands are always hurt. Like, he just gets his ball. He touches, like, every pass he deflects. Like, no wonder he fractures his hand all the time. It's just, he needs to stop stealing the ball so much. Maybe his hands will feel better. All right. So yeah, that's about it from that game. I've got who do I have? I've got Taj Gibson is my power forward, Kawhi Leonard is my small forward, and Tony Parker. I know, but I think it's time for them to start trying Tony Parker as my point guard. Let's go to the Utah versus Milwaukee game. We've got a 6.5 favorite for Milwaukee. Yeah, I think this is gonna be it's obviously gonna be a lower scoring game, so there's probably more value to be had elsewhere. But Brandon Knight, very solid play, playing 40 minutes a night. He's playing the entire game. And anytime a guy less than 8K, I believe he's 7,800, plays the entire game, he's good. Brandon Knight's a good player. Anytime a good player gets 40 minutes, he's absolutely worth a look. One thing I do worry about with Rudy Gobert is if Brandon Knight, he's not going to have as many layups. You see it a lot when it pops up, sort of Brandon Knight makes driving layup. You see more often Brandon Knight misses driving layup, but Brandon Knight does make a fair amount of his layups. But Rudy Gobert is going to be in there. I think Rudy Gobert will decrease Knight's value a little bit, but I still think he's a solid play. The Greek Freak has dropped in price from he was in up mid 6K. He's dropped about $1,500. 5.2K now. That's a pretty fair price for a guy that contributes all across the board. He's been a little disappointing of late. That's what reason for the price drop, but he's got a good matchup. I don't think that their perimeter players are up to snuff. Giannis, he's going to have a fine game. Utah's they're really struggling right now. Let's see. I think that's about. I don't have many bucks in this one. Brandon Knight's a good play. Giannis is a good play. Who else? Zaza's been playing well. I wouldn't play him against Gobert, but yeah. Let's go to the Utah side of the ball. Believe it or not, this is the second time I've done it. The first time I did it, I did not make any money, so be wary. But Gordon Hayward has a good matchup. Milwaukee has no small forward. Gordon Hayward's a small forward. And take it for what you will, this is just sort of the way my brain works, but if I'm Gordon Hayward and I played against the Cavs last night and I had to be matched up against the LeBron James and I saw what that guy does on a basketball court, I would be pretty relieved my next game not seeing LeBron James every time I touch the ball and not having to guard LeBron James at all. So not only does Gordon Hayward have a great matchup, I think that he's in for a good game just because I think seeing that level of basketball be played firsthand, an inch away from his face, I think I think he's in for a good game. He's got a good matchup. I think he's in for quite a good game.